What if everything you thought you knew about your perfect life turned out to be a lie? What if your husband, the man you trusted most, was living a triple life with 3 families, and you had no idea? This is the shocking story of Anna, who discovers the truth about her husband's secret life. Before we dive into the story, this video is an exercise in shadowing. Shadowing is when you repeat what you hear, word for word, to improve your pronunciation and fluency. Listen carefully, then repeat after me. It's a fun way to learn English naturally, and trust me, it works. So let's jump into the story. It was a picture-perfect life. My name is Anna, and I had everything I thought I ever wanted. A loving husband, a beautiful home, and a young son. Mark, my husband, was a successful businessman in the financial world. He traveled a lot for work, but he was always there for us when he was home. He'd bring home souvenirs from his trips, share stories about his meetings, and make sure we felt loved. Mark and I met in college, and from the moment we started dating, it felt like destiny. We shared the same dreams, the same values, and we had big plans for the future. Our little family was everything to me, and I thought that life couldn't get any better. Our son, Leo, was just starting school, and Mark and I were making plans to spend more time together. But there was always something that didn't sit right with me. Mark's constant traveling kept him away from home for days, sometimes weeks. And while he was away, I would occasionally notice small things. Missing items, unanswered calls, or brief moments of hesitation when I asked him about his day. But I brushed it off. He was working hard for us, right? Looking back, I should have paid more attention to those moments. But I didn't. Life seemed so perfect, and I was so busy with our son and managing the household. I trusted Mark completely, or so I thought. Weeks passed, and life continued as usual, or so I thought. The unease I had been feeling started to grow slowly, but I didn't want to believe it. Maybe it was just the stress of our busy lives, or maybe I was just overthinking things. One evening, Mark was away on one of his business trips, and I decided to go through some old boxes in our attic. I was looking for something to decorate the living room, and in the process, I stumbled upon a box of old letters and photographs. As I dug through the box, I came across a photo of Mark. It was an old picture of him with another woman. She looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. There was a date written on the back of the photo, 2 years ago. My heart raced as I looked closer at the woman in the photo. She wasn't anyone I recognized. I felt a chill run down my spine. Why didn't he tell me about her? Why didn't he mention this trip? I felt like I was drowning in questions with no answers. I carefully put the photo back in the box and closed it, my hands shaking. I tried to convince myself that it meant nothing, that maybe it was a colleague or a friend. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The next day, I tried to act normal. Mark returned home, and we went about our day as if nothing had changed. But I couldn't stop thinking about the photo. It kept coming back to my mind. Later that week, I decided to ask him about it. I knew I had to confront him. I couldn't keep ignoring my gut feeling. I sat him down after dinner, and with a calm voice, I asked, "Mark, who is the woman in the photo I found?" Mark froze for a second when I asked the question. It was just a second, but I noticed. Then he smiled, too quickly, and said, "Oh, that? She's just an old friend from a business event in Miami. We were all taking pictures together. Nothing important." I wanted to believe him. I really did. But something about the way he avoided eye contact, the way his voice slightly cracked, it didn't sit right with me. Still, I nodded and pretended to accept the explanation. I wasn't ready to push further. Not yet. But my mind was already racing. The next morning, Mark left early for another trip. This time, he said it was to Chicago for a finance summit. He kissed me goodbye and told me he'd be gone for 3 days. As soon as he left, I called my best friend Julia. I needed someone to talk to, someone who could help me think clearly. When Julia came over, I showed her the photo. She stared at it for a moment, then said something that made my stomach turn. "Anna, I think I've seen this woman before, with a little girl, at the park near the cafe I go to." A little girl? My head started spinning. I asked Julia everything she could remember, what the woman looked like, how old the girl was, if she remembered the day. And then something clicked. There was a bracelet on the girl's wrist, one just like the one Mark had given our son, Leo. A custom one, with little gold letters spelling out her name. I felt like the ground under me was shifting. Could Mark have another child? Was this woman more than just an old friend? That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the bracelet. That same exact design. Mark had ordered it online from a small boutique. I remembered because I helped him pick it. I waited until the next morning and decided to go to the cafe Julia mentioned. I had to see with my own eyes. I sat by the window pretending to read a book, but my heart was pounding. After nearly an hour, I saw her, the woman from the photo. She was holding hands with a little girl, around 6 years old, and just like Julia said, the girl wore a golden bracelet. And then I saw her run toward a man waiting near the bench. "Mark?" "My Mark." He bent down, picked the girl up, and kissed her forehead. The woman smiled. She touched his arm like they were a family. My chest tightened. My throat burned. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He wasn't in Chicago. He was here, with them. I stayed frozen for a moment, then slowly walked out of the cafe. I didn't want him to see me. I wasn't ready to confront him. I wasn't ready for what this meant. That night when he came home, I pretended everything was normal. He talked about meetings, clients, and late dinners. I nodded and smiled. But now I knew. This wasn't just about lies. It was a whole second life. For the next few days, I became someone else. Calm on the outside, but inside I was unraveling. I watched everything Mark did, listened to every word, and started noticing the patterns. He had excuses ready before I even asked. He was too perfect. I needed more answers. I couldn't talk to him yet, not without proof, so I started digging. I went through his drawers, his briefcase, even his laptop when he was in the shower. That's when I found the hidden email account. It wasn't under his name, but I recognized his writing. He used it to book flights, hotels, and send messages to someone saved as M. There were pictures, too. One caught my attention. Mark, with a different woman, not the one from the park. A third one. She was holding a baby, and Mark had his hand on her shoulder, smiling like the perfect husband. I sat there staring at the screen, numb. 3 women, 3 families? I couldn't breathe. I had been married to a man I didn't know. And the worst part? I had no idea how far this web of lies went. I closed the laptop and looked around my house. Our family photos, our memories, all suddenly felt fake. But the biggest question burned inside me. Why? Why did he do it? And how many more secrets was he hiding? I couldn't take it anymore. One night, after putting Leo to bed, I sat across from Mark at the dinner table. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady. "I saw you," I said, "at the park, with her, and the little girl." He froze, again. But this time there was no smile, no fake excuse, just silence. "I know about the emails, the baby, the other woman. You've been living 3 lives, Mark. 3. His eyes dropped to the floor. For a long moment, he didn't say anything. Then quietly he whispered, "I never meant to hurt you. Any of you." Tears welled up in my eyes. Then why? Why lie? Why build all these lives? Families? He looked tired, broken even. "I loved you. I still do. But I got lost in it. I couldn't stop. Every time I thought about ending it, I was already too deep." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You have children, Mark. They deserve the truth. We all do." He nodded slowly. "You're right. I have to fix this. But some things can't be fixed." After that night, everything changed. Mark moved out the next morning. No yelling, no drama, just quiet goodbyes. He promised to take responsibility, to be a father to all his children, and to tell the truth to the other women. I didn't ask what happened next. I didn't want to know. Instead, I focused on my son. Leo still asked about his dad, and I told him what he needed to hear. Enough to understand, but not enough to hurt. One day, I'll tell him the full story, but not now. As for me, I rebuilt my life. It wasn't easy. There were nights I cried, mornings I couldn't get out of bed, but with time, I got stronger. I found a job I love. I found peace. And most of all, I found myself. I wasn't just Mark's wife anymore. I was me. So if you're watching this and you've been lied to, betrayed, or broken, know this: you are not alone. You are stronger than you think, and you will be okay. And that was the story of a woman who discovered her husband had a triple life. 3 families, 3 sets of lies, and 1 heartbroken truth. What would you have done in her place? Do you think someone like Mark can truly change? And how would you explain something like this to a child? Let me know in the comments. I read every one of them, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We post emotional, dramatic, and powerful stories just like this one to help you learn English in a natural and engaging way. Also, if you want to improve your pronunciation, go back and do shadowing with this same story. Just play it again, repeat out loud sentence by sentence, and keep practicing until your speech feels smooth and confident. It's one of the best ways to sound more like a native speaker. And finally, remember this: no matter what life throws at you, you always have the power to start over, to heal, and to become stronger than ever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next story. Keep going. You've got this.